I thought it might be useful to talk a little bit about the difference between about this concept of furlough leave that the government's introduced last week, because there's been a bit of a confusion about what furlough actually means. So this might be hopefully helpful to anyone who's wondering how it works. Furlough isn't, the first thing to say is furlough isn't a kind of concept in UK employment law at the moment at all. It's not a thing. There's no kind of definition of furlough in any kind of legislation or case law or anything like that. So it is a new thing, which is partly why it's causing a bit of confusion. And people are wondering what's the difference between being on furlough and being laid off. And being laid off is a concept in UK employment law. It's about putting someone on unpaid leave for a certain period of time because there's no work available to them. And it's a concept that's used quite a lot in some industries, but never at all in lots of others. So it's obviously quite common in things like construction, where they go through periods of needing work and other times when they don't need the workers. So that's definitely a concept in UK law. And in terms of how it's different from this furlough scheme that the government is talking about at the moment, it's not really, because the idea of the furlough scheme that the government is introducing is that you don't have enough work for the workers, you lay them off, you put them on unpaid leave, and then you can claim back the percentage of the salary from the government. So it's not a completely different legal thing, it's just really the concept of being laid off as we currently already have it, but it calls something else. And I think it's partly because in most sectors, most industries, laying off isn't something that regularly happens, so lots of people aren't familiar with it as a concept. With the concept of being laid off, you can have a contract clause that enables you to do that, which you can just exercise, and you can do that as part of this particular scheme if you have, if the coronavirus is meaning that your business is suffering and you need to lay workers off. If you have that clause in the contracts, you can absolutely use that, and then you can go onto the soon-to-be designed HMRC portal and designate those workers as being on furlough and then claim back the percentage. Many businesses don't have any kind of concept of a layoff clause in their contract because they don't usually need it, which is fine. It doesn't mean you can't put workers on furlough, it just means that you will need their consent to do it. However, unlike kind of normal layoff where the leave is unpaid, it shouldn't be that difficult to get consent at the moment for people to go on furlough. People know what's happening, people understand the threat to the business, and as long as you can kind of explain what the alternative is, which would usually be redundancy, if people have the option to go on furlough where they're not having to work, but they're getting 80% of their salary, the consent shouldn't be difficult to get. So that just explains a bit about the difference between furlough, the new concept of furlough, and current layoff arrangement that we already have, and who can use it.